wanted to touch base real fast about some of this stuff, and I'm gonna apologize if it seems long. Some of the people were like, "Oh, you've got a lot to share." I'm like, "Yeah, I want you guys to know everything that's going on." So, just to start, curricular update. We're continuing with our scope and sequence work. We're starting to look at making sure our assessments match our depth of knowledge and our scope and sequence documents. But the really cool stuff that I wanted to share with this was we had NWA and we compared it from fall to winter. And then in each of the grade levels, we had students making growth in both language arts and the areas in math. So in 8th grade, we had 78% increase their NWA score in math and 73% in ELA. And then we had 70%. So NWEA kind of like sets a target for the kids, a goal from fall to winter. And we had 70% of our students reach that goal in math and 63% in ELA. So they're making great progress. In 7th grade, we had 94% of students increase their scores from fall to winter in math, and we had 70% increase their scores in language arts. And then 70% met their growth goal for NWEA in math, and 55% met their growth goal in ELA. And then in 6th grade, we had 88% increase their scores from fall to winter in math. And there were 2 students then that stayed the same too. So they didn't fall back, but they just didn't make that progress. So, and then we had 61% in math reach their growth goal. In language arts, we had 61% score better between fall to winter, and then we had 54% meet their growth goal than in 6th grade ELA. So we're just starting the iLearn process. We're just finishing up with the practice tests. We have a couple students that still need to take theirs, and then we start that April 16th. So moving forward with that, our schedules are going to be a little hectic in the next couple of weeks to get that all finished with the kids. And then we have opted into the new iLearn tests for next year. So all trying to wrap our heads around what that looks like in terms of our scope and sequence documents and the standards and everything else. So, and then we're continuing with our PBIS in the middle school. So we have Braves Days once a quarter. Those include, like this fall we did, we had cookie decorating and gingerbread house making in the winter, and we had board games, and we've had movies, we've had like a bash where they can go outside and play a little bit, and we have concession stands open in the gym where they can play. And in the spring, we're super excited because our Braves Day is going to be at Rev Complex for the 6th and 7th grade. They're going to play wiffle ball and kickball, and we're going to have Kona Ice there for them. And then the 8th grade is going to be at the bridge for a cookout and celebration there with Kona Ice there as well. So we are super excited about our spring event. We started this year some online positive praise referrals instead of like we've done positive praise in the past and positive referrals. But this is kind of a way for us to track it a little bit, like who's getting how many and that kind of thing. So we had 333 referrals written as of today for positive praise, and then each one of those gets a little thank you card from us at lunch with a sucker or a piece of candy or a fidget or something to go with that. And that does not include our 6th grade team writes their own positive praise that they do in town hall meetings. They do little shout outs in their town hall meetings, and then they get their small prize in that. So just, we have a great group of kids at the middle school that are doing great things. So and then moving on to our student supports, I wanted to talk about just some of the things that we're doing and implementing at the middle school to help students. We started this year a student check-in form. So each of the students can, it's up on our news and announcements page on Canvas so they can access it. A lot of teachers have it linked to their Canvas pages. But that check-in form allows students to let us know just how they're doing for the day. So they're green, they're good, and some students just like to tell us they're good, they're ready for the day. And then we have blue, yellow, and red. And then when a student fills that out, like if it's a red, and then they can tell us who do they want to see. So they can talk to myself, they can talk to Miss Bowers, they can talk to Miss V, and they can write that just on the form, and they tell us what's going on. And then that form emails us, myself, Miss Bowers, Mrs. Vanderkolk, and then also our student support specialist, Taylor Oliver. it emails all of us. So somebody is getting that via email, and then we can decide who needs to talk to them. And if one of us isn't there, we all have access to that email. So all of the students, and that's going great. We have a lot of students that are using that. And then they can also ask their teacher just to come down and talk to Becca at any time too. But so this is kind of a not anonymous way, but kids can check in with us without other people seeing how they're checking in. So, and then we can call them down to the office, and the kids nobody really knows where they're going or why they're going there. So it allows them to not like see that face-to-face interaction with other students. So in guidance, talked to Mrs. V today, and she sees 52 students on a regular basis. So that's either daily, weekly, or monthly. And then in the month of March, she had an additional 20 students that she saw just kind of triage, whether that's conflict with peers, whether that's just some mental health concerns from the student. We deal with some anxiety at the middle school with different things, just with pure conflict and everything else that she addressed within that. We also have Braves 101, which is a weekly activity that Ms. V sends out for our students, and it usually has to do with building empathy, some of that social emotional learning, and that's every week that we have teachers working during their SRT with those kids. We also have 26 students receiving mental health services through either AMBH, Park Center, or Bowen Services. Obviously, I know that you guys are not unaware that mental health right now is in kind of a crisis. So we have 26 that are using those services, but we could always use more services too. So we also this year started a tutoring program where we have students volunteer to tutor other students. So it's a peer tutoring program. Students sign up with their strengths, and then it's vetted with the teachers. And then we have our other students can sign up based on their needs. We have QR codes throughout the school that they can scan, and it's an automatic form that they can fill out and request services, tutoring services, and that happens during SRT time as well. So I'm seeing great success with that. We also had Alive and Well come in and complete 8 sessions with our 6th grade students. That's a local community group that came in and talked about just communication with students, empathy, and building good decision making. We had Remedy Live just here in March that had a great program just talking to our kids about we all deal with different stressors and trauma, and then how do we take that and spin that to a positive and make good choices, and how do we use our strengths to help us with that. So it was a great program, also local here in Bluffton. So we have field trip opportunities for our students. Splash Day is coming up in May for 6th grade. 7th grade is doing a cross-curricular culmination project where they talk about the different regions and climates and cultures and everything else. So they'll go to the zoo in May. And then 8th grade participated in Job Spark and the JA program earlier in first semester. And that was an amazing program, went to Job Spark. And the kids really had a great time kind of being able to look at all the different careers they had. They were able to work on transformers, and see like what that would feel like if they're wearing gloves and everything else. So it was just a really great program for them to go and observe and see. And now the fun things we get to do. I mean, those all are fun too, but the fun things we get to do. We do Trivia Tuesdays every Tuesday with the kids. So we ask a trivia question. They get to decide, like answer it on a slip of paper. They bring it up. If they're right, they get a sticker or a piece of candy or something. And then we have Music Fridays. So the kids kind of make a playlist, and we do the school-friendly versions of the songs. And so we play that during lunches on Fridays for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Each group gets their own playlist, so it's tailored to them specifically. So that's playing on the speakers at lunch. We also started this year the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So like 6th grade used to be split. Like the boys would eat for 15 minutes and then the girls would be at recess, and then we flip-flop. This year we combined the groups, and they're eating, so boys and girls are eating together, and then they get their choice for recess. They can either go outside or in the gym right now while it's a little bit cooler. But then we have board games and card games and Jenga and all sorts of different things that if they want to stay in the cafeteria, they can stay in the cafeteria and play as well. So that's a little bit of the change. In November, we hunted for Tom the Turkey, which kids loved. It was amazing. I thought, like they wouldn't be as into it as what it was, but we ended up having to hide that turkey like 15 times a day, I felt like, because that was everybody wanted to know where he was. So that was really fun. In February, we did a Spread the Love event. So we put little hearts with random acts of kindness, and kids could take a heart and take a picture. And so they just did random acts of kindness throughout the month of February. And then just recently, we had Leprechaun Bergman. Aaron Bergman was so kind to stand up on the roof at arrival and shoot confetti cannons off as kids were coming. So he was dressed like a leprechaun with his little hat, and that was fun. And then this Friday, we're having our dance at the middle school. It's actually just a bash, like an informal bash where kids can come and just hang out. We're splitting it 6th and 7th grade, and then 8th grade gets their own time a little bit later in the evening. So really looking forward to that. We're excited to have the kids there, just kind of informal setting. So they get a dance, but then the gym will be open after practices are done, so the kids can hang out and play in there if dancing's not their thing. And then also we just finished our fundraiser, which is the first year. We kind of tagged along with the elementary for their POP fundraiser that they did. This is the first year that we've done it, and it was really successful, I feel like, for our first year. We were really working towards raising funds to celebrate our kids. And then also our weight room, I don't know if anybody has been up there, but our weight room and our PE equipment needs some updating. So we're trying to raise some funds to get some new equipment in the weight room. We have kids asking, like, is there some kind of program that I can do after school where I just want to lift weights? So we're really looking at increasing our programming and being able to allow kids to participate up there. It's just we need to improve some things before we get all that kicked off. So we earned right around the $4,000 mark to be able to put money towards those things. So again, like for our first year, and it was like really fast. I think it went really well. I was really impressed with everything. Along with that then comes the Day of Awesome. So the elementary, we're again tagging along. The elementary will have the first part of the morning, and then we'll end the last hour, where the kids who participated in the event and sent their information out to parents and grandparents and friends are able to go and just play for an hour in bounce houses and cash wheels, and I think they have something where that blows up and money blows around that the kids can try to get. So I just think it'll be really fun for them to participate in. So we're looking forward to that. And then just to kind of let you guys know, I send out a monthly newsletter at the end of every month. It's usually right around the 28th of the month to parents with kind of all the fun things. We try to take pictures and include pictures with that just so they can kind of see what's going on too and the different things that we have going on. And then goals moving forward for next school year. We're looking at our high ability programming and increasing some of our really enrichment programs that we have during our SRT time. And then also trying to work in a summer enrichment program for those high ability students. And then MTSS, I feel like, is something that we need to work on at the middle school and just really strengthen that program. And then I would like to start a principal advisory board with students from varying things. So it wouldn't be a student council. It would be somebody from kind of each group of kids and then at each of the grade levels, just to have get a better pulse on what's going on in the middle school and how everything is going. So. And then finally, just to prove like we have such great kids at the middle school and their hearts are so very big. SPI had a student pass away, and she participated in our cross country and track events, and our kids would like to do a hat day on Friday to raise funds for her and to put in a memorial as a track. So just again, like we have great kids and they have such big hearts. So thank you. Like I'm loving my job. I'm having so much fun. Like I'm having fun with the kids, and just thank you. Thank you guys for your support. But again, it's just a great building. Come in anytime. Like our doors are always open. You can eat lunch with the kids. You can buddy up with the kids. You can have recess with the kids. So come in anytime you want. Like, it's always an open door for you guys, so.
Yeah.
Yes, you can come in and dance Friday.
That would be so
That
good,
would be
yeah.
perfect.
Some things you just don't want to see.
Absolutely.
That's right, yeah. MTSS, what is that?
So it was response to intervention, so RTI. MTSS is multi-tiered structural support system. So it essentially is just making sure that students who are struggling in the classroom get supports to help improve their skills. So usually they have some form of gap in a subject area or in a curricular area. And so it's building in supports, whether that's in the classroom, pulling them outside for extra supports, but building that in, making sure we have interventions in each of the general education classrooms to support those kids, help them be successful.
So development skills, so I could use that.
Yes, we could put a plan in place.
There you go,
Get you a peer tutor set up. I heard Dave volunteer for that.
yeah. He's got some moves, man. There you go.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of really cool things going on.
Yeah, there is, like I said, our staff is amazing, our kids are amazing, so we can do fun things, and it's been a great year.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
No old business, so next on new business, we have approval of resolution for timely payment for financial obligations.
So every year, Beth and Lori and different ones of us go to a lot of things from IASBO, which is the Indian Association of School Business Officers. And between them and our auditors, we always get suggestions, recommendations, directives, whatever the case may be, for improvement. So one of the things that they recommended and our auditors had recommended, just to make things a lot more formally good, is for this board to pass a resolution that basically says if we need to pay a bill before we have a board meeting to okay the check, we can pay the bill if that falls at a time when we're not going to have a board meeting to approve it. You would still see it at the board meeting, but so that we are not in default of paying a bill in not a timely manner. So that's what this request for a resolution is. Beth might know a little more about it.
It also, so that we don't incur any late fees, is the biggest thing, so.
We've sort of had a standing consensus, haven't we? Just get it done and then
Yes.
come to us usually,
Yes,
but having a resolution.
they like to see it
Yeah,
because they
makes
are
sense.
getting a lot more, the auditors are asking for a lot more documentation on everything. They want to see the board policy, they want to see the board minutes, they want to see,
That's kind of what came up with the,
yes, yes.
we were compliant.
Yeah,
They wanna see where you guys said it's okay to do that.
and that makes sense.
It does, I guess, yep. So this is, again, probably been our practice, but they want to see that you folks say that's what you should do.
Any other questions, comments, or motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Dave. Seconded by Carla. Motion by Dave, seconded by Carla to approve the resolution for timely payments for financial obligations. All those in favor now for saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved 4-0. Next up is the approval of a resolution to add Belmont Bowling Club to Belmont Middle School and Belmont High School extracurricular activities list.
So I met about a month ago, just after the last board meeting, with Dave Vitito and Jeff Hudson, who sponsor and coach our Belmont bowling team. And heretofore, they really haven't been formally under any umbrella of North Adams, which is fine, except it also means then that they don't necessarily get to capitalize on some of the things that would potentially benefit them, like for instance, if they needed a white bus to go to a competition, having better and more access to good communication for recruitment so that they can come to our new student orientation nights or some of those types of things. Also run some fundraising through us, like they said this bowling is a hugely involved national and state organization after they explained it to me, more so than I realized, but as they said, they will probably never turn it over to IHSAA, the state and national organization, well, because they make too much money, is what they explained to me. So it's not inexpensive for these kids to be part of this. So while we might not have a lot of money as a corporation always to float, but we can help through transportation, we can help through if there's an availability and you want to do a tailgate as a fundraiser before a football game, you have the access to do that with this. And again, just trying to, I was very impressed with these two gentlemen because they hold their athletes to very high standards and they expect them, they do grade checks every week, they expect them not to get in trouble or have any disciplinary consequences. So being able then to not break FERPA, to give them access to some information that they may have a right to see as an employee here. Those were all things, and again, just to bring those kids under your Belmont Braves, because they're working hard and they're gaining a lot of accolades, and we want to make sure that there's a better relationship and more fluid communication about all the things they're doing too. So I talked to them and they were definitely in agreement to want to kind of come under that umbrella, and so this is just a request for them to be added to our extracurricular activities. It doesn't come with any stipend because that would be negotiable, but you as a board can add any extracurricular activity to that list. That makes sense.
Any questions, comments, or motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Tim, second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave. Motion by Tim, second by Dave to approve the resolution to add the Belmont Bowling Club, Belmont Middle School, and Belmont High School extracurricular activities list. All those in favor announce by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Approved 4-0. Superintendent's report.
So this is a very busy time of year as usual. I did want to, Mrs. Schilmer already mentioned it, but I did have on my list to extend our condolences to SPI, but also the family of Marie Filling. Marie did participate on our track team, but she also was an athlete that many of our students worked with, and just can't imagine as a parent having a healthy child one week and then the next not. So our thoughts and prayers are with all of them, and we have had some of their siblings and have one here as a sophomore presently, and so trying to support their friends and these siblings at just an extraordinarily difficult time. But we definitely support everyone in lifting them up and doing what we can. From there, I wanted to give you a facility construction update. So the multi-purpose room is about 2 weeks behind right now because of all the rain we received, but they do have the footers in and have started on the wall. The block will probably come in next week to start putting the masonry up. So things are moving up, and that's a good thing. The track, they have already demoed all the track out and are already pouring concrete for the sidewalk around it. Always some last minute decisions, found out one of our drainage tiles was collapsed, and after doing a lot of discussion with the engineer, they said, probably been collapsed for a long time and it hasn't hurt anything. So, okay, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I have some comments and an update I'm sending you here tonight, and we're going to make some improvements to that plan, probably with some of our cash balance, not an exorbitant amount, but again, doing some fencing upgrade around at least the interior of the track, and just making it be finished nicely. And again, all the infrastructure we're doing with the curbing on the inside of the track, in anticipation of potentially turf one day, and the drainage and infrastructure for that. We have this Friday upcoming Donuts for Grown-Ups. I met with Mr. Baker, and we have a very good problem to solve. Last year, I think we had like 350 participants. As of Friday, they have 650 participants.
Wow.
A lot of donuts.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of donuts, yes, it is. And again, it's a good problem to have, but parking became our immediate concern. And so, at first we were thinking we might have to shuttle from somewhere, have them park at Riverside or somewhere and shuttle them. we think we can get them parked at the main middle school and elementary lot if we make the staff park out of the van lot. So fingers crossed, and again, we hope everyone is patient. But because of this growth, I think next year we will be having several events probably and focusing on different grade levels or something. But again, that's a good problem to have. I'm glad to see all the parents and grandparents wanting to come. And I know my little guy is gonna be there with his dad, who he told me he wanted to come with him. I'm like, where's mom and all this? I guess mom just is here every day. So he's very excited, and I'm happy to see that. And this year, as something different, they are giving the parents and any visitors the opportunity to go back to the classroom for an hour and kind of see what their child does in that first hour of the day. So I'm excited for that too. Let's see, SAT results, I believe, are embargoed, but I will tell you we're happy with what the high school has done this year, and want to thank the teachers for doing a lot of PD and readiness with students. So we'll be reporting on that when they're the more specifics, when they're not embargoed any longer. Preschool roundup was extremely successful. I would just add that if anyone is interested in our preschool, they need to be getting signed up, because we are getting to the waiting list portion. And that also includes our daycare opportunity for preschool aged children and siblings. So please go ahead and get signed up there. We are in the midst of trying to get the word out about kindergarten roundup. That's upcoming here. Christy, do you remember the date by any chance? I just
Nope, but it's
blind it. Okay. It's coming up soon, and there's all kinds of things on social media and the website about that. So please, if you have a kiddo that's getting ready to start kindergarten, you want to be getting ready for that. Board day on campus is May 3rd, and I gave those of you here kind of a preliminary schedule of what that's going to be. So we're going to be doing a lot of sit and get, I hate to say, but we have our long-term facility study will be ready, as well as some financial planning. And then one other thing is, by then we will be ready to have our candidate for the athletic director meet with you folks who can be here and speak with him. And then also our hope is one of our elementary principal candidates we may have a decision by then. We had several great candidates already come through, and so we are in the interview process starting already and kind of going through a multi-tiered process, so I'm very excited to see how that goes. Solar eclipse yesterday, it was very cool. I was kind of surprised at how cool it was.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those once in a lifetime things that you'll remember, and I'm so glad. Honestly, at first I didn't think, I don't know if I want to come to school or not, and then we were worried about the crowds, but crowds or not, I think it was just with my own kids, it was great to just have it with your kids and be able to experience it. And so I hope everyone was able, or as many people as possible were able to take advantage with being with their kids and grandkids and experiencing that. And it was just a fun day, I think. I think a lot of families made it an event, and I hope they all got to enjoy it.
Kim?
Yes.
I watched it from my favorite spot on Olive Valley,
Uh-huh.
and there were busloads of kids from Noble County. They
Really?
drove all the way down to the lodge so their kids could see it there.
Oh, cool. I guess it's hard to believe when it's happening right here that just not very far from us, they didn't have the same experience.
Yeah.
So, I am happy to report that Chief Gerber and Officer Bussey were giving me reports that we did not have a whole lot of traffic here on campus, and there was no mess to clean up, so that was a blessing. We had a plan if there were, but everything went pretty well, so glad to hear that. We were kind of scared the few days before, but it went really well. So again, once in a lifetime experience. Glad we had that opportunity, and want to again thank Justin Ayers, our communications fella, who is at his class, because he's in school right now too. He really took the lead, and a lot of the communications you've seen across the county were designed by him from North Adams, so that we had a consistent message. And so I appreciate everything he did. That was a a lot, but he did it really well and kind of sectioned it off, so there's a lot of good information, and, very proud of him for that, and thankful. That's all I have.
Kindergarten roundup is April 17th from 4:30 to 6:30.
Okay, April 17th, so next week, April 17th, yes. Thanks, Christie.
You're welcome.
Any other matters to come before the board? Board member public comment?